start by introducing yourself, telling us what grade you're in, what area you're from, and why you chose the IA?
Hi, I'm Melissa. I'm in ninth grade, and I'm from Milford, and I chose the IA. Well, my sister came here. She just graduated. I guess not a senior anymore, and she really, really liked it, so I came, and now I really, really like it too.
Hi, I'm Jessica Erickson. I'm in ninth grade. I actually came from Novi. And I chose to come here because I heard that it was a great experience and that it could really challenge you, and I was looking for that. And I also heard it was a great environment, and you get really close with people, and it's true. It's really good.
Hi, I'm Jackie Clemens, and I'm in ninth grade. I'm from Highland, Michigan, obviously. And I chose to come to the IA because I heard about it when I was younger, and I just thought it would be a great school and a great experience.
Hey, I'm Connor Welsh. I came from Milford, and I came to the IA because I heard it had a great academic program, and reading through sort of the application packet, I realized that it could open up a lot of opportunities.
Hi, I'm Zay Chiat. I'm from White Lake. I'm a sophomore. And the reason I chose to come to the IA was because I really wanted to challenge, and it has been a challenge, but it's made me grow so much in everything I do and everything I learn.
Hi, I'm Alex. I'm also a 10th grader. I'm from Commerce, and I came to the IA because I wanted to challenge, like everybody else said. And my brother just graduated this year also, and from what he told me about it, it sounded like the environment was good, and it was a fun experience, and everybody was tight-knit, close-knit together, and so I decided to join, and it is exactly like that.
Okay, now we'd like to open it up to you students. This is your opportunity to get answers from the students who are currently living the IA experience. Does anybody have any questions at this time? Yes? Great question. Do any of you play sports? Does someone want to answer that?
Well, I'm a competitive ice dancer, and I skate in Bloomfield Hills every day after school for 2 to 3 hours. And I travel across the U.S. Twice a year if I miss a week of school. And I've been able to balance that all and still get good grades, and I haven't made my competitive career any worse because of my being here at the IA.
I also do sports here at Lakeland, actually, and I have done track and basketball this year, and I found it to be very manageable, and I'm actually doing 3 sports next year, so it's definitely something that you can still do coming here to the IA and still maintain a good grade point.
I play ice hockey. I'm on the Milford varsity team, and freshman and sophomore year I played on the prep team. And during season we have practices 5-6 days a week, practices and games. So yeah, it's definitely very manageable. You just need to learn how to use your time wisely, I guess.
Okay, thank you. Great question. Next question? What's the most challenging piece for you here at the IA?
I would say that the most challenging thing, there's not anything really that's super challenging, but every once in a while we'll have like a weekend or like 1 week that we're overloaded with things, and it's just getting through that 1 week, and then once we get through that week, it becomes easy again. So it's just, there just goes through periods of hard and periods of like easy times. Yeah, there's not that much of a difference.
I would definitely say that time management, freshman and sophomore year, I struggled with that a little bit, which is just, I guess, my personality. But once I got that down, everything sort of falls into place.
You have a question? Okay, the question was, could you talk a little bit about enrichment? So if you've had any great enrichment experiences, would you please share those with us?
So I did a photography enrichment with Jessica actually, and it was really fun. Like we took a bunch of field trips. Like we went to the zoo and we went to, yeah, we went to Belle Isle, and you just really got to learn how to use like an editing software, and it made your pictures look really cool. And I learned a lot during it, and it was just a really good enrichment.
Alright, so I don't know how familiar you guys are with the enrichment program, but there's a wide range of things you can do. I did one enrichment at the International Academy Central Campus. That was international business enrichment, and we went every Saturday for 4 or 5 weeks and learned all about different businesses and business structures and stuff. So that was really fun, but I've also done some really cool ones. I learned how to scuba dive through the IA, both open water and advanced. And then I went on a trip to Florida with a bunch of kids and a couple chaperones, which was awesome. We did a lot of scuba diving. We lived underwater for a day, which was really cool in this like compartment thing underwater. And I'm actually in 9 days. I'm leaving for Ecuador and then the Galapagos Islands to go to live with the tribe for a week and then scuba dive for a week and a half. Down there, and that's all part of the enrichment program, and I'm super excited for that.
Okay, I'm really excited because this summer I plan on having a Spanish exchange student, which is counted as an enrichment, and so I've been doing Spanish for 2 years now, so I'm really excited to see what that brings up for me and how much I learn from that, and it will be an amazing experience. Yes.
One, realistically, how much homework do you expect to have every night? And secondly, are there any study skills or classes that you guys do to help with your study?
Okay, so the first part of that question was, what is the homework load like? So talk about it from the freshman and sophomore and junior year for those who can't.
Okay, so freshman year, it's going to be difficult at first because your kids probably are not used to having to work that hard. So it's going to feel like a lot, but once you look at it, it's really just probably at most like 2 hours a night. And it'll get busy around final time, but that's just expected, so it's not so bad.
And for sophomore year, it pretty much just stays the same as it was in freshman year. Some days I'll have up to 2 or maybe even more, like when I have to do an essay or project, but like tonight I don't have any homework, so it varies throughout.
Alright, and then as a junior, I can reiterate what they say. Coming in, it's sort of tough because, to be honest, I didn't personally have to do any homework in the 8th grade, to be honest, but coming in that definitely changes. However, you get used to it pretty quickly, and it's not like it's just a ton of homework automatically. It sort of gradually increases, and it's actually not really that bad come junior year because you get to pick out the classes that you really enjoy, so it's definitely not as bad.
I guess I would say coming in as a freshman that your homework load kind of depends on you because you do get some time to work on homework in class, so how productive you are, and then also procrastination, you don't want to do it. You have block scheduling, which means you have A day and B day, so you do have 2 days to do your homework. My advice to you is do your homework the day of. It makes life a lot easier, and your homework load will be 1 to 2 hours at most.
Well, that's a great transition into the second part of the question, which was, do you have any suggested study skills for an incoming freshman? And Jessica, you just hit on one, which would be doing A-day homework the evening of A-day.
I would definitely back Jessica up and say not to procrastinate because honestly I am a terrible procrastinator and it's just way more stressful than it should be sometimes. And in the beginning of the year I didn't do my homework that I got on A days, but I transitioned into doing that and it's taken so much stress off, and It's just, yeah.
All right, so when I came in, my middle year, I'm not sure how many of you guys are coming from here, but back when I was in 8th grade, they didn't have a language program. They had one term of a class that taught you 3 or 4 different languages, so it's essentially nothing. And I was terrible in Spanish, but I went, after about a couple weeks, I realized I'm gonna need help with this. So I got a tutor, a Spanish tutor that I met with just once a week for an hour a week. And, you know, I've had no problem since. I went to her for a couple months, and then now it's good.
So this is gonna sound like totally cheesy, but for my finals last year, I had a study party, and yes, I did. But it was worth it because we all got together and like we can use each other to study, and that's beneficial because if you don't know something, you can't figure out a problem that could be on your final, then you have your friends around you to build off of, and that was really helpful for me.
I would say a really good study technique, depending on the business learner you are, is flashcards might just become your best friend next year. And also, there's no shame in going to your teacher if you need help. They're here an hour every day after school, and they're here for you. They're not, like, really doing that much. And, like, I mean, they're doing a lot, don't get me wrong, but, like, they are paid to be here and to help you out. So don't feel like you can't go to them. And, yeah.
You gotta be kidding me. It's like they're paid to say this.
Oh, the homework load. If you don't do it, it gets overwhelming. But if you keep up with it and when you need help, you ask, it is very simple. And if you pay attention in class, which can be somewhat difficult, but it's possible, homework is extremely easy. And once in a while before the big breaks, you'll have this like week that's crazy loads of homework and studying and projects. But if you realize it, it's best to do it before the breaks because then you have that week to recuperate.
Okay, and definitely use your plan. They give you a planner at the beginning of the year. Last year, I did not use my planner at all, and this year I started using it, and it made everything so much easier to remember. And it just makes everything easier. You can cross things off when you're done with them, and you just know exactly what you need to do, and so definitely utilize that.
All right, so I also wanted, I don't know if you guys know about it, but we have things called no homework weekends at the IA, which are a godsend because it's really awesome. Basically, the administration or whoever the gods of the IA are, they tell the teachers that they're not allowed to assign homework over the weekend, which, and that might not even sound like a lot, but because of the 2-day schedule, that actually means that neither teachers on Thursday or Friday can assign homework. So you can just relax, do whatever you want all weekend, and that's super nice. And a lot of times we have those, it seems like in just very strategic moments where right before there's been a lot on your plate, and it's really nice.
You got a question? Yeah.
Is there any mentoring of a freshman class with the older students? And is there any problem with hazing a freshman?
So the first part of the question, is there any program in place for mentoring? And then also, have you found that there are problems with hazing freshmen in the past?
Okay, so we have this thing called the Big Brother, Big Sister program. And so there's this group of students that fill out an application, they get accepted into this program, and then they're paired with a freshman. So every single freshman has one of these big siblings. And it's really nice because they can go to these big siblings and like ask them questions, or like their big siblings try to talk with them and help them transition.
And so that's really nice. And all the time that I've been on NIA, the freshmen and the upperclassmen have really gotten along. You know, I know that I became friends with like a lot of the seniors that have left, you know, and it's really nice to have that close environment.
There's also a mentoring program where a group of freshmen are assigned to a junior or senior, whatever combination. And I loved that so much because I grew really close with one of my mentors, and it was great because they really helped me realize, you know, what's important, like how to prioritize and all of that stuff. So it was great.
I was on the sort of giving end of all that. I was a mentor and a big brother to two kids actually, Dayon and Bob Brown. Yeah. So it's really cool. Like I mean, you really do form a relationship with you know, either your little brother, big brother, whatever. I took both of mine out to eat one time after school, and I always see them in the hallways, asking how they're doing and stuff like that. And as a mentor in the mentor program, which is just another thing that sort of pairs up freshmen and sophomores with upperclassmen. It's really nice because you can give tips just like we're giving you guys today, and sort of help them make class decisions for next year based on what they're interested in, and it's just really nice. And that also helps out with the relationship between the upperclassmen and lowerclassmen. There haven't really been many problems at all, and I'd say that compared to Milford and Lakeland, it's fantastic. For underclassmen, it's absolutely awesome, at least when I was.
And then does somebody want to touch on the issue, maybe one of the freshmen can speak to, have you found there to be a problem with hazing of freshman students?
There's not really any hazing of freshmen here. It's a pretty tight environment where like you're friends with literally everyone. There's not really cliques like you see in a normal high school, I would say, which is really nice to not have to see that. And if you ever are bothered, there's Miss Doe here every day and Miss Knight, and they're here for you. So anything you need.
That's not tolerated. And we've never had an issue at all, ever.
Next question. Yes? So the question is, in a previous meeting, hearing that in each class period, 3 different types of teaching take place. So is that really true, or would you possibly have an entire 90-minute class period with all lecture-based learning?
During the 90 minutes, we normally have, like, it varies. Like, some days we'll have discussions and debates, and I find those really helpful to see both sides, and you normally pick a side and try and support your side, and it helps you learn about the topic and get better your persuasion skills. And also, there's lecture, and also sometimes we do activities and kind of like learning games, you could call them, that help you learn lessons in like a fun way.
All right, so I wouldn't be able to name like the 3 exact kinds of teaching we do, but I can definitely tell you that the teachers go out of their way to make everything interesting. I don't think I've experienced a class that has been full 90 minutes of lecture. That'd be terrible. Believe me, that'd be terrible. But I mean, we do a lot of things. There's, like you said, there's discussions, a lot more than in Milford or Lakeland or whatever school you would normally be going to. There's a lot of class involvement. Even when we do projects, at least at the junior level, we're extremely discouraged to do just basic PowerPoints and stuff like that. They often ask us, a lot of people will submit videos. We'll do presentations, which are sort of similar, but they're more interactive. A lot of different stuff. Just it does make it a lot more interesting than just like a 90-minute lecture, which would be terrible.
Okay, well, I've had classes where sometimes we do have lecture on, but it's not bad, I promise. Like, the teacher's talking to you, and sometimes you give 2-minute breaks, which are nice, because then you can just get up and stretch. But it's not like full-on lectures, like boring TV. They're just talking to you, and you're taking notes the whole time, freaking out, trying to write everything down. It's not like that. It's more interactive lecture.
And on top of that, the teachers here at the IA, they're like really cool. Like we're friends with our teachers, and so it's not like boring to be taught by them. Like they add fun things into their lectures to make them interesting, and we just have like a good connection with our teachers that helps move things along. It barely feels like 90-minute classes to me anymore.
Yes.
I have a great question. Incoming freshmen class, how many students are involved?
So the first question was, how many students are enrolled for this year's freshman class? And it's approximately 95.
And average class size per session is
That also ranges, our smallest class size is 16, and our largest this year is 32. But I would say mid-20s is the average.
And then,
the third question is, I'm just wondering how accepted they are of the Lakeland students for the interaction. How would you have lunchtime?
That's a good question. The question is how accepted are the IA students as far as by the Lakeland students, and how well do they integrate with them during lunchtime and other times when you're actually together?
okay, well, I'm just going to address the first two questions real quick. First one was about class size. So you guys have 95 coming in, but the classes, it usually gets a little smaller after freshman year. And then as with like specific class sizes, freshman year, like I said, you're going to have more, but as a junior, there's some classes that have 12 people in it. It really depends on which class you choose. For example, my chemistry class, I do one chemistry because you can pick which science you take junior year for the next two. There's not many people in it at all. And the same goes with econ. We have a relatively small econ class. It really depends on, or once you get towards junior year, you can sort of branch out and the classes become smaller. And the classes become a lot more interesting too.
Okay, so about the third question about the Lakeland students accepting the IA kids. Well, they do. It's like at lunch, I see tables with both IA students and Lakeland students. Like, we're all just friends. And I was on the Lakeland volleyball team, and it's just like one team. It's not separated between the schools. So it's really nice.
So some of my best friends go to Lakeland High School, so I hang out with them after school all the time, like honestly like 3 times a week probably, because I really like that connection with them. And I did Lakeland cheer, so I had all of them, and also freshmen and sophomores have Lakeland electives in the morning. So you get to have classes with them and you interact with them, and I even sit with my Lakeland friends at lunch sometimes, and so you're constantly interacting with them, and it's fun and it's worth it.
Just a piece of advice. A lot of times kids coming in have stereotypes of Lakeland kids, and they think that Lakeland kids have stereotypes of us. And my advice would be just don't come in thinking that the students at Lakeland aren't intelligent or are mean or something like that, because if you come in with that mentality and you act like that, that's what you'll get. But, I mean, I play hockey for Milford, and Milford's Lakeland's rival, and I still have a ton of friends at Lakeland, and I mean, I've never had a problem. I know a lot of people. I even know kids on the Lakeland hockey team, so they're definitely accepting of IA kids, but you guys have to just be accepting of them too.
Okay, one more question. Okay, one in the back there. Okay, so the first question was, can you take Lakeland electives in your junior and senior year? No, you cannot. Once you get into the IB program, it's a prescribed curriculum, so it's during your first 2 years that you would take Lakeland electives. The The other question was, are we in fact implementing an IB music program this fall?
We try to, each year, we try to gather enough students, and this, for next year, we were going to combine our resources with Lakeland, and have a combined AP and IB course, but unfortunately, there weren't enough AP students at Lakeland and not enough IB students at the IA who signed up for that. There were a total of 5 students, so we will continue, hopefully freshmen, as you come in, you'll choose to continue the music path so that we have enough students to offer that class, because that's something that we want to provide for our students. So I encourage you to take music, stick with it, and if you do, we'll have the numbers to offer that in junior year.
I have something to say. I know in the past few years, if there's a junior or senior that wanted to take a band class, there has been an IA band during the last hour of the day, and it's mixed with Lakeland students. And all you have to do to do that is you take an online government class, and so that you don't have to take it during the actual school year. And in that place, you get your band class if that's what you want to do.
And I also have been in choir since I was like in 5th grade. And so I did choir as my Lakeland electives for last year and this year. And next year, since we don't have music, there is a Lakeland after-school choir, which is after the advanced choir. So I still plan on doing that because music is a huge part of my life.
Okay, well, let's first of all give our student leaders a round of applause. Thank you. Okay, as we close tonight, you will actually notice around the room as the lights go on that we have signs posted of the different cities where all of you live. And what we're hoping is before you head out into the breezeway to enjoy ice cream along with our student leaders, that you might gather over in your respective city areas to make some of your own connections and possibly set up your own freshman carpools. So, okay, also if you didn't grab one, we have carpool lists outside as well as information about how to sign up for our listserv. So have a wonderful evening and please enjoy the ice cream out in the hallway.
Okay.